Everybody, this is Green Ninja. I've been wanting to do this particular video for quite a few days now, ever since BuildCraft version 3.0.1 or zero point 0 came out. Now it's 3.0.1, and I just haven't found time to do this. But in 3.0.0, Space Toad, the author, introduced wiring and logic gates, and these are the two things that I've been looking for a while now. I don't know if you guys have encountered this, but quite frequently my engines blow up because it runs out of water and you know, it couldn't cool itself, etc. So with these things now we can avoid all of that. So it's kind of cool. On top of that, there's a concept of laser, which you kind of see over there. We'll do that in a little bit, but let's start with wiring. So in this version, it's worth mentioning this, just to repeat what Space Toad has said. This is a very early version, very early release. He's expecting that we're gonna find, you know, bugs and crashes and whatnot, and you know, maybe even ruin your world. So be aware of that. This is a you know, a throwaway world that I created here. Just a few things that I want to show you guys. But don't install this on something that you plan on keeping. You know, it might be detrimental a little bit later on. So anyway, let's start out with wiring. So he gave us 4-color wiring, and the way that you place wires on the pipes, you just right click on the pipes while holding the wire. And there are 4 colors. There's red, blue, green, and yellow. So you can put the wires, up to 4 different types of wires, on a particular segment of your pipe, and they just go where they go. You can't really, you know, rearrange them or, you know, make them go on top or bottom or whatever. Believe me, I tried. That's just the way it is right now. So if you got 4 edges, you got 4 colors of wires. That's the maximum that you can do. I would imagine that in the future he may go into wire bundles and things like that, but for right now, that's what we've got. So wires by themselves just don't do anything. You can't activate them. I guess you can just look at them. That's it. So the way that you activate the signal in the wire is that you put a gate in it, and then you provide it with some sort of input, and we'll go into more details a little bit later on of the logic gate. But I just want to show you that wires has to be activated here. So let's just see. So by placing a toggle switch here, this gate here allows me to select it as a trigger. It's a redstone trigger. Now the action that I want to do is to turn on the red one, the red wire. Let's see if it works. And it does. That's pretty much it for the wiring. And we'll go through some practical applications, simple applications first, and then practical applications a little bit later on. So the next thing is the gates. There are 2 groups of gates. There are the AND gates, which are black, and then there are the OR gates, which are white. At least the you know, the outline are white. Now within each group there are 3 different types. There's iron, gold, and diamond. So with the and they're increasing in how expensive they are to build, to make them, as well as in complexity. And this is what I mean. So if you right click on the gold, for example, I'm sorry, the iron, you're gonna see a table here consisting of 2 rows. For the gold, you see 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for the diamond, you see 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 on this side and 4 on that side. So there are 8 for diamond. And similarly, you're going to see the same thing over here. There's 2. Gold has 4. and diamond is 8. Okay, so what does that table do? So when you right click on this, on any of the gates, you're gonna see this interface right here. Each row of the table consists of the left side, which allows you to cycle through triggers. Right, so all of the available triggers are available to you here by just clicking on it, left click. All right, so the right side of that particular row allows you to select an action that you can do. In this case, it's nothing else but a redstone signal. Okay, so that leads me to the next thing. As I shown you over there, you can right click and then you can cycle through the different triggers over here. Now, they are sensitive to what you place next to them. Alright, so right now, this particular gate here has nothing placed anywhere near it or anywhere next to it. So the only thing that's context sensitive is the piece of pipe here that's connected to it. So if you right click on the gate and you try to cycle through the different triggers, they're all related to the pipe. So in this case, there are just 2 of them. If pipe is empty, you want to do something, or if pipe has liquid flowing through it, then do something. Alright, so let me just show you by placing a couple of items next to the gates here. Alright, so now with the chest placed next to this gate, you should see other triggers, and you do. So now you can select you can choose from the different triggers that the chest itself offers. So you can do if the inventory is empty or full, or if there's space available, etc. And very similarly, if you put an engine next to it, it's facing up, it really doesn't matter. You right click on that, you're gonna see that the engine can be operated in one of 4 states: blue, green, yellow, and red. And you see that here. Okay, that's gonna be very useful later on for some of the examples that I want to show you. Okay, so that's how you use them. But let me just show you a couple of very simple examples. So first thing I want to show you are the OR gates. Okay, the simple OR gate example. So I'm hoping that most of you guys have already learned some logic previously, and I'm not going to go into truth tables and things like that, just application for now. So let me just show you this very simple one here. I have a lamp here that I want to use as an indicator. What I want to do is and then I have 2 inputs here. What I want to do is, if for an OR gate, I want, if either one of these switch is on, I want to turn that lamp on. Okay, so let's compose that here. I'm going to right click on it because there's a wire here, the right next to the gate. The gate is going to automatically identify that as being a redstone, redstone signal. So you right click on it. So what I'm going to say, sorry, first I want to do some wiring, otherwise the gate won't recognize the wires. So I want to do 2 wires here, one for blue and one for red. So let's call that blue and red there. Alright, so right click on this. Now if there's a red signal, I want to turn the redstone signal on, or if there's a blue signal, I also want to turn the redstone signal on. So that's pretty much it for the destination, for the action. Now I want to tie this to that, tie the input to the wiring, and I will also need gates for these. Alright, the switches will also show up as redstone signal. Anything that has to do with traditional redstone will show up here as a redstone signal. So if I see a redstone signal here, then I want to turn on the blue. And then over here for the second, if I see a redstone signal, I want to turn on the red. And that's it. So now you would expect that if I toggle any one of these two switches on, then the lamp would turn on. Alright, so that's for that one. Or if I do it for both, they should all, that lamp should also be on. So that's it. That's a simple OR gate. For the AND gate, similar idea. We just need a different gate here. And let me replace the wiring, otherwise it won't work. So right click on it. Now, same idea. If I see red, then I turn on the redstone signal for the lamp. And if the blue is also available, then I turn on the redstone signal. This is a little bit confusing. For the AND gate, I would rather see a different representation graphically of how the AND gate works. So I would do it like linearly, horizontally like this. So if this and that, then do this, rather than stack them up as a table like this. But this is Space Toad's baby. I'm not gonna knock it. All right. So what would you expect here? If I turn on one or the other, nothing should happen. Alright, but if I turn them both on, that's the AND gate for you. Alright, so that's fundamental idea of an AND and an OR. Let me do just one more simple example right here to show you the AND, okay? So over here I have an engine, I have a chest, and I have a switch. The idea that I want to show you here is this. I don't want that engine to waste its energy, assuming that it does consume energy, even though this is redstone, which is completely free. So I only want to turn that on when there's something in that chest to flow through, to flow to the other chest over there. But I also want a manual override here, okay? So I want this switch to be on, and there's something in here for that engine to turn on. So let's just try this. Right now the chest is empty, so even if I turn this on, nothing happens, and that's true. So now let me just put something in here. Still doesn't do it. It's still waiting for another signal. Oh well, you know what? I haven't set it up yet. So let's say if I want to see a redstone signal, then I do a redstone signal. This is also kind of confusing, but what I'm saying, if the redstone signal for the switch comes on, then I want to turn the redstone signal to turn the engine on. Similarly, I want to see something in the chest. If there are some items in the inventory, then I want to turn the redstone signal on to turn on the engine. Alright, so right now there's something in this chest, but it's not operating just yet because I still have this manual override here turned off. So let me just flick it on, and there it goes. By the way, 3.0 up with 3.x are not available for multiplayer yet. Space Toad wants to get all the wrinkles out, all the bugs out before he actually go and do the multiplayer. And if you didn't already know, Minecraft 1.0.0 has just been released. Hold on for a while. I'm not gonna do anything with 1.0 yet. I'm playing around with it, but it'll be a while before all of these mods become available for 1.0. At least Space Toad says that within 2 weeks he's not going to be able to do anything. He's actually on vacation. So let me just show you some practical examples now. Um, in one of my previous videos, I show you guys how to do an infinite water source. That was shown to me by a viewer actually, and I tried it and it seems to work. Now, it works most of the time, especially if you have a larger pool like this one here. If you have a smaller pool, what happens is, you know, if the engine gets hot and it pumps a lot of water, then there's just not enough time for the water to replenish itself, and therefore the pool will eventually run dry. So the net effect of that is my engine, when it runs out of water, it's just gonna get too hot and then eventually blow up. So what I'm doing here is this is a very simple way of preventing that from happening. So I put a gate here, and I set it up like this. I'm saying if there's water in my pipe or flowing through my pipe, then turn that engine on. Any other conditions, just turn it off. So for as long as water is flowing through, this engine will run and you know, power my quarry. Very simple. Now there's another way of doing that. You already know that the engine can operate in one of 4 modes, right? 4 states: blue, green, orange, and red. So the other way of providing that safety measure is this. So you know that in red mode you don't want to do anything. That's detrimental. That'll blow the engine up. So you, for any of the other 3 states, the blue, green, and orange, you turn your engine on. So if it ever turns red, it'll just shut itself down. Okay, so that's the alternate way of doing that. And I basically do that for every one of my engines, because I don't want something like this to blow up. This is my power plant, which I use to drive the lasers. I'll show you that in a little while, but you know, it takes a little while. It takes a little effort to get that going, and then if it blows up, you know, you gotta repair, and if you have it near buildings and things like that, that's even more work for you. Alright, so more practical example. Okay, so you see this red wire here? I have it run all the way down there to some of the engine, and the way that I use that is let me just show it to you here. The engine itself provides you the ability to sense whether or not there's liquid in it, and I believe this holds for both the water and the oil. Okay, so I just set up a gate here that senses if there's space for the liquid, then I turn on a red pipe signal, and that signal will then turn on the pumps to pump the oil toward it. So if there's ever a case where any of the engine requires a little bit of oil, then this will just pump and fill it up for me. Alright, so that's another one. Now here's another one. I have 3 tanks here. This I just call them tank 1, 2, and 3. This tank 1 is the entity that provides all of the oil to all my other engines within my world, my little world over here. Okay, and that's, I already show you how it gets pumped by a redstone signal. Now if it ever gets a little bit empty, if there's some more room for liquid to flow, then I want to pump oil from tank number 2 into it, you know, to fill it up. And the same idea, if tank number 2, which is kind of a reservoir for me, is ever empty, or not even empty, if it has some room, then then I'll send another signal down to this pump here to pump the oil from this tank here to it. And lastly, this tank here ever has you know, a little room, then I'll activate that signal, and you can see that being activated right now. You see that? To a couple of pumps down there to pump the oil from the ground up to fill it up for me. I'm just using that as an indicator that the oil pump from the ground is actually working. So how do I do it? I'm just repeating the same process for all 3 stations, but I'm sensing that there is space for liquid in the tank right next to this gate, and I'm turning a blue signal, and I have a blue wire running from here to here to another gate, and in this gate I'm sensing a blue signal, a blue pipe signal on, and then I turn on the red signal, which in turn turn that engine on. That's it. Very simple. Okay. So how do you craft these gates? Space Toad did a great job on this. I really enjoy this. I like the fact that that he comes up with laser, and I would like to see further progress on this laser. I mean, I'm so much into crafting, but just seeing this laser, you know, doing its thing, it's kind of cool. I'm hoping that one day he'll turn that into like a laser show or something. That would be so fantastic. But anyway, let me show you how you craft these things. Now, it's a lot simpler than using the crafting table. The difference is that he calls this an assembly table. The assembly table differs from the crafting table in that it needs to be powered, and the way that it is powered is through these lasers here, and the lasers are in turn being powered by electricity generated by the power generator that I showed you a little bit earlier. I don't know if you can power it through other means like engine. I haven't tried it. Maybe I will and show it to you guys. So you power the assembly table. Let me just turn these things off for a second. Alright, and I'll just show you a couple of things here. So I showed you the difference between the assembly table and the crafting table. See, the lasers just get cut off. That's because there's nothing here to be crafted. So keep that in mind. If there's nothing to be crafted, laser is going to be off. Now, the assembly table is kind of cool. There's no recipe per se. If you put raw material on the left side here, then the potential components that can be crafted will show up on the right. But that still doesn't do anything. Okay? And in fact, you know, you can put it anywhere. In any particular order, it really doesn't matter. Whatever can be crafted will be shown up here. Alright, and then you can just pile it up with raw material. And then all of these potential components can be crafted, yet the laser is not going to turn on. The way you start crafting is to enable it. So you can say, I want to only craft, you know, this one and that one. Now the lasers are being activated to craft these components. So there's a progress meter for that component being crafted here. When it reaches the top, a component is going to will pop right out of the assembly table. Now, if you don't have this chest here, that component that's being crafted will just, you know, become a drop item right outside, and if you don't tend to it, it'll just go away after 5 minutes. So the way that you catch all of that stuff is just to put a chest right next to your assembly table. As you can see, it'll just, you know, everything that's being crafted will go into that chest. Alright, so I'm just gonna enable everything here and watch the lasers go. That is cool. I like it. That's pretty much it. Let's see what so just one other thing I want to mention, okay? I have this switch here which wires up to all of my engines. There are 28 altogether over there to power my laser and my quarry over there. If I turn this off, all my engines will go off, of course. Now, in version 3.x, Space Toad introduced a new feature of sort. Right now you see that my water is running out, so my engine is actually running a little bit hot. If I turn that off right now, there is a time penalty. The way that it used to be is that if you turn it off and turn it back on, then the engine will just instantly turn itself back on. But in 3.x, the engines will not turn on unless it's totally cooled off. So what you will see is, if I turn this off right now, let me do it. And then I turn it back on. You see that on my engine. Whoa. I think it's a glitch. Anyway, I've seen this in the past where if I turn it off, let me just shut it all the way off first. I think it takes a while to turn off actually. So it takes a while to turn off and it takes a while to turn on. Either that or I screwed up somewhere. Anyway, so let me just tell you about the penalty. So if a particular engine is orange like this, it will take its time to cool off until the blue state before it turns itself back on. So that's the time penalty. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, I disabled it. That's why I couldn't turn it off. So anyway guys, I hope this is useful to some of you guys. I know many of you guys have you know, experience with logic gates and whatnots, and I apologize if that's kind of insulting, but you know, for some users, especially the young ones who have never seen it, I hope that you guys enjoy. Give me some comments and questions or whatever, and also suggestions. Have fun. Bye.